Hi, welcome back. Today's video I'm going to be using my big boy flask, this giant vertical flask. And you're probably thinking, what on earth am I going to put in this because it's massive? Well, it's great for bangles, sometimes bigger pendants, mostly bangles, or cutlery, which is what I'm going to do today. So I have a friend who's been lovely enough over the years to give me all of her old jewellery that she doesn't use anymore, and I've pulled it apart, used the stones for other projects, melted down the silver for whatever I wanted. But recently she gave me some more stuff and I thought it's about time I give back. So I'm going to melt down her old jewellery and I'm going to turn it into a little silver knife with a twig handle. I'm not sure if you guys know, but I like to do a lot of really organic stuff using twigs and found objects. So I'm going to be having this knife blade and this twig handle. But it's going to be in one piece in the mold. So I'll show you how to do that. And it's just a bit of fun if you just want to do something for funsies. This is a great way to do it. I've also been using up my copper scrap and my brass scrap metal because you can't get that refined. Well, you can get it refined, but you're not going to get any money back when you send that in. So it's a great way to use that scrap metal and actually make a bit of revenue on it, perhaps, or just make something cool to give people as gifts, like what I'm going to do. All right, let's get started. This is what I call my big boy. It's a vertical flask, a giant vertical flask. Unfortunately, you can't use it exactly like this. What you do have to do is get some of these clips so that you can hold this flask closed. Otherwise, if you don't do that, your metal will just shoot right through or it'll force the mold to split open. You do absolutely have to get something to hold it closed, and I've got these clamps. So we don't really have male and female sides. I mean, I guess we kind of do, like this side would be considered the male side. And we can't start on that one, as you can see. So we have to start on the female. Put it lip down and pack from behind. And just be warned, you're going to use a lot of clay. All right. Pretty good surface. Talcum powder that surface up. We're going to start by putting the knife in first. And it just sort of fits like that, but let's have a look because we need to make sure that we've got enough room for this twig handle as well. And I'm going to be doing the twig handle like that. So we'll have to come out the top there, just like that. Yep. All right. Push it in. Using my paintbrush to help push that blade in. Alright, now that is down. Maybe we'll pull these edges back a little. Okay. Put this other half on top. And hopefully I've got enough clay. Just like with the little flasks, we're going to do loose crumbly clay first. And pressing it down with our fingers. And then we'll just pack the rest of it with big clumps. You can see there's a bit of cracking going on right there. And I want this blade to be pretty smooth, so I'm just going to get a bit of loose clay, smear it in there. I'm going to close it up, and I'm just going to give it a good wallop. I do have to make sure that this surface is flush, so I've got to add some more clay. The reason why I need that surface to be flush is because I'm about to be pressing twigs and working in this surface, and I don't want this to be concave. If this is concave, then when I press stuff in, that clay will give way. Whereas if it's flush, it's fully supported and I can press into it without the clay moving out of my way. So that's much cleaner and smoother. Let's get this knife out. Now, I don't actually want this handle. I want twig handle. So let's fill in this old handle. We'll do it on the other side. See, that's got the talcum powder on it. You'll have to scratch that back, otherwise the clay you put down won't stick to it. Alright. Alright, got our twig. So I want the twig to be laid in like that. See how it's sticking up the top there? It's not a problem because let's pack this with more clay. So we get that extra length to our flask. Talcum powder that surface again. Alright. Maybe about there. My twig's got this wonderful bend in it like that. So let's try and get that clay to come up and meet that twig. Alright, let's pull that out for a moment. I just want to This has gone a little bit too deep here for my liking. So I'm going to try and clean that up a bit. I'm also pressing this knife blade in a little bit deeper so that the silver version is going to be nice and deep. That didn't really cover in as much as I wanted it to, so let's get a little bit of clay. Pop that clay in that little hole there. Alright, Twiggy back in. What I might do to this side is actually make this clay quite loose so it's got room to move, because I've got all of this raised section here. That raised section needs like a divot to move into. So I'm just going to loosen all that clay up so it can move out of the way. Also going to get some of this clay and build up this funnel section, just like I did with that one. Alright, let's tack this up again. Give it a light tap. Try not to tap down around this section where the blade is. Now that has fallen out. You don't normally use the flask by filling this section here. I'm only doing that so I get the extra length that I require for this knife to work. Yeah, not too bad. Looks like that twig's not in the middle of the blade though. Is it worth putting this in and moving it over? Maybe. I'm just moving that blade over a little bit. I'm also pressing it a little bit deeper on this side, just so that my silver version is going to be a little bit thicker. Because once it's cast, the silver is actually really soft, so I'm going to have to go in and belt it with a hammer to temper that metal so that when you use it as a knife, it's not going to bend. Alright, let's close and open this again. I might give it a bit more of a bang. Maybe a bit harder this time. My little top fell out. That looks a bit better. Okay, carefully pull that twig out and let's do our funnel and some air vents. So we're only going to have a really short funnel in this one because I'm using up most of this length just to get the handle for this twig in. So let's just make a little funnel. Using the back of my paintbrush. And let's do a corresponding funnel on this side. And I might just cut it out. I'm going to get that twig and I'm going to put it in this side just to crisp that up because I think I've sort of distorted it a bit. See, there's little grains of sand down there on my blade, and I need my blade to be super clean because I want to high polish it. Alright, let's do an air vent. I'm just going to do one. And I really want that metal to shoot all the way down here and finish down the bottom, so that's where I'm going to put my air vent. Right down there at the bottom. Did sort of disturb that clay a little, so let's just flatten that down. Alright, let's close this up, and using our clamps, ready to cast. Might just open this up a little bit more. Being careful not to push any clay down into that twig impression. I'm just trying to open it up so I've got a little bit more of a target to aim for when I'm pouring the molten metal. That's better. Let's go cast. Alright, safety glasses on. Want a big flame. I've got all my friends' old metal, her old gold, my silver, and melt that down. Try not to melt anything. How about I just do it up here? I always like to rest my crucible on something, you know, like the table while I'm melting, but it's a bit hard to do that with this video and not melt something that I'm not meant to, so I'm just going to hold it in the air. Yeah, it's not looking too bad. Alright. Press your crucible against the flask. Focus the heat of that torch on the lip of the crucible because you're just about to send the metal over that lip. So as you're heating that lip, you're simultaneously keeping that metal hot. And when you cast, You want to keep the flame on the metal as it's being poured down the hole. We want to make sure that metal is piping hot. And you're going to throw the metal down the hole. Not pour it, throw it. Real quick. 1, 2, 3. Done hatch. Now would be a perfect time to put your mask on. Okay, I know this flask isn't going to be hot. But if you're doing it at home, always just be a bit tentative when you touch your flask for the first time after you cast. Just in case. A little bit of cleanup I'm going to have to do. But not too bad actually. You know, I'll just sort of blend it in here. Clean up all these daggy bits. Go to town with a hammer on this blade to make sure it's nice and hard and usable. We've got this button on the end here. Just chop it off right there with your bolt cutters. Cool. Well, let me clean it up and I'll get back to you. I thought maybe you'd like to see me clean it up. So here we go. I'm gonna cut that big button off. All right. So it still needs a little bit more polishing, but the tumbler is fantastic at work hardening this, particularly the twig handle, because the twig handle, you can't really hit it with a hammer to temper the metal. So putting it in the tumbler just makes all that metal get compressed and tightens up and hardens it so it's able to be used. But that's the little knifey I made for my friend. Hopefully she will enjoy having some cheese with this, because I know she's a cheese and wine gal. Alright, well I'll put some close-up photos and maybe a video, close-up video at the end of this. So after I give it a quick final polish. Alright, well, like and subscribe. Let me know if this was useful content. If you have any questions, ask. If you want to see anything in particular, please let me know so I know what videos to make for everyone. Alright, until next time, bye.